Well, hey everyone, are you ready? Today we're going to learn about how to be more present in life. The first thing I want you to know is that your presence is the greatest present to others. Your presence is the greatest present to others. Always remember that as you go on through life. Now, my first question I want to ask you is, hey, do you know someone who is physically present but not mentally? Another question I want you to think about right now is, have you ever been physically present but not mentally? I think we all have. So that is something to just think about right now as we learn. You're not alone. I don't blame you. We are all super busy. I made a quick list here of some of the duties of some of my students: school, work, homework, sports, activities, clubs, Schoology. At home, family, chores, cleaning, eating, hygiene, laundry, cooking. On the weekends, church, hangouts, groups, cousins, going out, weddings, etc., etc., etc. The list never ends. That's life. Life will always be busy. Now, since today we're talking about how to be more present, I want to give you some super practical advice. Number one, we must always remember to make time for what's important to us. I heard someone say this recently, that it's not you making time, but it's you taking time. Because ultimately we don't make time. Time is just time. But we need to take time for what's important to us. The second thing I want you to do quickly is to reflect on how you treat and act around those who are closest to you. Think about that. How have you recently been treating your family? Have you been recently treating your friends or acting around those that you consider that you love the most? Here are some practical steps for improvement, because that's what this podcast is all about, to give you some things to do effective immediately. Number one, you got to think about and remember what's important to you. If you say that your family is more important than school, are our actions speaking loud enough for that to be true? All right. So is that happening in your life? Number two, slow it down. I get it. There's so many things happening in your mind, but when you're talking to someone that you truly love, slow it down. Listen and just be present. Eye contact is key. If you want to show someone that you appreciate and admire them and respect them, even some of your teachers, when you're in class, have eye contact, because that's what we look for whenever it comes to who's present and who's not. Number four, repeat what they say. Whenever you're in a conversation, repeat. Like if they're like, oh, wow, like I really enjoyed this. Oh, wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know you did that. So I just heard this. How long have you been doing that? So repeat what they're saying and say, hey, like, just so that I heard you correctly, here's what you're dealing with right now, etc. So repeat what they said. Nod and show that you're listening. So show some physical cue that, hey, you're engaged and you're listening. Smile. So they know that you're listening, and it's always easier to talk to someone who's smiling at you. And then number seven, as I said earlier, ask a question back. It shows that you are really present and you're listening. All right. Now, if you're looking at this list and you're like, oh, wow, I don't do a lot of these things. Even me, like I created this podcast, I created this life lesson, yet I'm looking at some of these things here and I'm like, wow, I can do a better job at some of these things. So this is a good reminder for myself as well. So here's the challenge. Number one, try it out. Number two, next time you talk to someone, be mindful of your habits. How do you act? Because sometimes if we're not mindful, we just fall back into our habits, which is whatever we've been doing. Number three, keep working on being present. And number four, learn to enjoy it. If you learn to enjoy it, then chances are you're going to get better and better and better at it. And so I hope you learned something new and have a wonderful day. Bye.